Okay, so I was talking with Rookie Orange, and this year we're going to do something kind of cool with our channels. What we're going to do is each week for the SEC Southeastern Conference, we're going to make our predictions on who we think is going to win their games that week, whatever week of the season it is. And whoever has the most games predicted correctly, we'll do something. We'll do a prize or something at the end of the year. And so I talked with them, and once a week we're gonna get on here and do this. We're gonna post who we think is gonna win their game that week, and they told me they were gonna do theirs either, I think, this evening or something like that, just whenever they can. But I'm just going to go ahead and get mine out there. The first weekend of college football, you can't really pick Arkansas because they played last night, and they won convincingly last night against some high school team that they played. But first off this week, you got Missouri versus Missouri State. I'm going with Mizzou. I think they win this one easy. This is going to be a tough one. NC State versus South Carolina. I'm going NC State. I'm not convinced on South Carolina just yet. I don't. They may surprise me and they may win, but I'm going NC State on this one. Michigan versus Florida. I'm going Michigan. Michigan had a pretty good season last year. The games that they lost, they didn't lose by much. Losses coming from Ohio State and Florida State in the bowl game. I'm going Michigan on this game. Florida is a team, like I said before, that you never know about them. But coming into preseason on paper, I'm going Michigan. Kentucky versus Southern Miss. I think Kentucky comes out and makes a statement this year and shows who they really are and what kind of team they're going to be this year. So I'm going Kentucky in that game. Charleston Southern versus Mississippi State. I'm going Mississippi State on this one. Mississippi State, kind of fell off the map last year. Just kind of fell off, period. But I look for them to rebound this year and come out and make a statement in the opening game this year. Appalachian State versus Georgia. Okay, this is the game I was talking about in the last video where I said you cannot put Appalachian State out. Georgia has Nick Chubb, and it's going to be how healthy they can keep him all season long in their quarterback position. Can they have a leadership guy on offense to take control and lead this team? And Appalachian State is not a sleeper at all whatsoever. They are a team that will surprise you out of nowhere. Just ask Michigan. I still get a kick out of that game. But I'm going Georgia in this game. I think Georgia plays well, and I think they handle Appalachian State, but don't sleep on Appalachian State. Georgia Southern versus Auburn. Of course, I'm going Auburn in this one. I think Auburn comes out, and Jared, their quarterback, just has a great game. I think he comes out, and they're not going to show a whole lot because next week they go on the road at Clemson. And that will be a game right there that I believe will set the tone for the rest of the season. Is how well you play the former national the former national championships from last season. But I'm going Auburn in this one. I think they win convincingly, and I think Auburn's defense shows out in this one. South Alabama versus Ole Miss. I'm going Ole Miss, but you never know. You don't know how Ole Miss is going to come out and play after the off-season distractions that they've had this year. South Alabama may come out and surprise them, but I don't think that'll happen. I'm going Ole Miss in this one. Vanderbilt versus MTSU. I'm going MTSU in this one. I'm not really sold on Vanderbilt. They've got a couple They had let's see, what did I say there? They went 6-7 last year. But you never know with Vanderbilt, and I'm just trying to pick an upset, somebody to upset an SEC team. As many upsets as I can, and I think I'm going to go with MTSU on this one. I could be wrong. Vanderbilt may win, but I'm going MTSU. BYU versus LSU. This is going to be a really good ball game because it got moved to the Superdome in Louisiana. So LSU is going to have a ton of home field advantage in this one, and you know, Louisiana, you know, fixing to be my new home. They take a lot of pride in their team down there, and anytime you go to Louisiana to play in a ball game, whether you're going to watch the Saints play or you're going to Baton Rouge, it's always tough, and it's very hostile territory for many teams. But you know, I think LSU comes out and wins this one. I think they dominate on offense. I think their defense takes a stand and kind of shows you know, what they're going to be made of this year. Texas A&M versus UCLA. I'm going Texas A&M in this one. They beat UCLA last year in the season opener, but you know, you never know with Texas A&M what their offense is going to look like. They had one guy last year, Myles Garrett, on defense, but it doesn't seem like A&M always has that good of a defense. Like, their defense in Auburn kind of look a lot alike. But, you know, I go Texas A&M in this one. Tennessee versus Georgia Tech. This is going to be a really, really good ball game for both schools. I think it's going to be really tough because they're playing you know, in the dome. I'm going Tennessee in this game. I think they pull it out, and I think they I'm hoping that they establish something at the quarterback position that allows the quarterback to kind of make a name for himself and really take control of this offense and lead the team. But you know, you never can sleep on Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech will come out and surprise you. Just ask Georgia. And then the last game is going to be Alabama versus Florida State. Like I said, this is going to be one of the top 10 matchups of the first week in college football. And so, you know, I can't doubt Alabama. I'm not going to pick against them because I've picked against them before and it just didn't end well whatsoever. So I'm going with Alabama in this one. I think no matter how much they've lost on defense and the weapons they've lost on offense, they haven't lost much on offense. O.J. Howard is the only one that comes to mind. Maybe a few offensive linemen or something like that. But they've got star wide receivers, an outstanding quarterback, loaded at running back position, you know, and Florida State's coming off. They lost their top tier running back. So I think Alabama's favored to win this one. I really do. I think they'll pull this one out. So just to run down, I've got Mizzou winning, NC State over South Carolina, Michigan over Florida, Kentucky over Southern Miss, Mississippi State over Charleston Southern, Georgia over Appalachian State, Auburn over Georgia Southern, Ole Miss over South Alabama, MTSU over Vanderbilt, LSU over BYU, A&M over UCLA, Tennessee over Georgia Tech, and Alabama to beat Florida State. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave down in the description the games this week and my predictions just so we can keep it on paper. And if we can't remember who we picked one, we can always go down in the description and look. But that's my predictions this week, guys, and I hope you're having a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week.